it is impossible for me to accept all refusals. Despite your company's outstanding qualifications and previous experience in rejecting applicants, I find that your rejection does not meet my needs at this time. Therefore, I will initiate employment with your firm immediately following graduation. I look forward to seeing you then. Sincerely. Take home number 2, don't accept rejection. Advice 3, a stipend. You mean I get paid? You'll be making important choices over the next few years. Find out what you love to do and pour yourself into it. You do not want to dread driving to work every day. You'll be at your best, by the way, when you're happy, when you're feeling joy. Even when I was a clinical resident back in 1985, at times working for 50-hour continuous stretches in an 80-hour work week and making a whopping $11,800 a year, I always liked going to work. It didn't matter what I was getting paid. The salary was so poor, they gave it a fancy name, called it a stipend. If you ever get a stipend, it's code for slave wages. Eventually, I hoped to be paid well, but it was secondary to working hard. It was 14 years before I started my first company. It was worth every sacrifice. Do what you love, and take home number 3, love what you do. Advice number 4, the sky is falling. As you grow in your career, you'll come to realize that no significant achievement is accomplished alone. I've been blessed by being surrounded by talented and genuinely compassionate people. Some of these people just appeared. The rest were chosen. Of those that appear in your life, I would suggest finding mentors or heroes along the way who can help teach you and guide you. I've been fortunate to have been associated with a number of inspirational leaders of the highest integrity and competence. From them, I've learned so much, and I owe them a great deal of gratitude. There have been 4 in my life. My father, the CEO of a former company I was with, who taught me so much about wine. And 3, a senior administrator here at the university. The 4th I'll get to in a minute. Each of my heroes I admired, I've learned from, and they've taken me under their wing at some point in their lives. Heroes are absolutely, positively invaluable. With respect to those people you choose, those you surround yourself with, I offer you this piece of advice. Reflect on what type of person you are. Very, very few people, if any, have the talents and traits to do everything on their own. What do you lack? Are you an extrovert or introvert? Qualitative or quantitative? Optimist or pessimist? I like to think I'm a realist. Most say I'm a pessimist. Maybe that's just my own optimistic view of myself. I may not quite say the sky is falling, but I'd be damn sure to have a 7-step plan and a backup plan to deal with it before the sky actually fell. Recognizing that my character has caused me to surround myself with optimists. It really helps to bring a balanced perspective. Back to my heroes. Number 1, to say the least, my wife is the hero of my life who compliments every one of my inadequacies. Occasionally, she points those inadequacies out to me, but nonetheless, completes me. She has pure spirit, is a survivor, and an internal optimist, and just plain gorgeous. Listen to this. This is the most important personal success decision you will make in your entire life. Choose wisely. Take home number 4, know your shortcomings and compensate. Advice number 5, ride that mower, don't push it. As I mentioned, Dad was my hero. As I returned from college, I would frequently catch him cutting the grass with his push mower. One day, some 15 years ago, he and my mom came over and visited my house and caught me cutting my lawn on my riding mower. I stopped to talk to them, and he couldn't stop smiling. You see, this was an unsaid goal my dad had for me, to one day be financially secure enough where I'd have a large enough lawn that required a riding mower. To him, that signified making it. He just sat and smiled and watched until I finished. A few years later, when I was venturing off into the private sector, I remember during my first week of employment with the National Specialty Pharmacy, meeting the president in his large corner office. As I spoke, I thought, wouldn't it be cool to have this office on the top floor? I was fascinated, not just at the physical space, but what it actually meant. A few years later, as I sat in that same office that I now called my own, I reflected on a goal that I kind of forgot about. I wish each of you that same rewarding feeling that I felt that day. Take home number 5 is to periodically take a break and set your goals. As Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, the reward of a thing well done is to have done it, period. Having goals builds self-worth as well as meaning and purpose. Advice number 6, how do you do that? I get bored very easily. I own my cars for a few years, have moved several times, changed my primary job focus about every 5 years. Just one aside, I've only had one wife. Advice, that's an extra one. Whether you are like that or not, I would suggest that you plan your next venture before you get bored at the current one you're at. When I started at pharmacy school, I also worked at a gas station late at nights, helped my dad out on weekends, and interned at the pharmacy. Once on faculty at Pitt, I ran the anticoagulation clinic at the VA and staffed as a sterile products pharmacist on the weekends. Later in my career, while still on faculty, I ran the clinical division for a specialty pharmacy while initiating my own medical education company. Today, although semi-retired, I lead an expert witness consultation firm and building an investment fund in emerging medical markets. Many people would say, how do you do all that? I simply smile and say, I have it no other way. Take home number 6, always have something going on. Advice number 7, careful what you ask for. Retain perspective in your life and focus on what is most important. You know, when I turned 43, I was a growing and successful entrepreneur. Was managing the international education programs for Pittsburgh Pharmacy and was doing about 90 invited lectures per year. My goal was to be financially secure enough by age 50 that I could retire and enjoy life. Be careful what you ask for, you just might get it. Suddenly, my life was turned upside down. My wife was diagnosed with breast cancer, and I was devastated. Somehow nothing had meaning. I redirected all of my energy from work to helping my wife have the best health care possible so she could defeat this disease. I divested parts of my companies, went part-time at the university, and decided to spend more time with my family, and went on a war path against cancer. The miracle happened within a 3-year period. She was disease-free. In that time period, we moved from Pittsburgh to Naples, and I placed my career second in priority to my family. Life is now incredible, living semi-retired with my healthy family in the most beautiful place in the world. You know, as a leader in the workplace, I had a great deal of authority and control. It was intoxicating. Now I realize at home, control is nothing but a figment of my imagination. Take home number 7, remember what is important. As still a professor, let me summarize those 7 pieces of advice. Know what you don't like to do. Love what you do. Don't accept rejection. Know your shortcomings. Compensate. Set goals. Always have something going on. And 7, remember what is important. Now, for those 2 magical words you've been waiting for. In conclusion. Please know that your professors have taught you well and provided you with the knowledge to achieve this moment of transition in your lives, the time when you commence your career as a professional. But they have not taught you everything. Acquiring wisdom is on your own. So realize you have much more to learn about business, about life, about yourself, about how you will give back to your profession and your community. What happens next in your life will be determined by your dreams and your determination. by your hard work and by how smart you work, by the company you keep, and by how much you're willing to lead and give of yourself. I encourage you to pursue a career that lets you sleep well, not merely a job that pays well. You might not remember a single thing from this speech. However, savor this moment. Look around at your classmates. This day you will always remember. There will only be one just like it. After the ceremony, look into the eyes of your parents or whoever helped get you here today. Thank them. Tell them you love them. Savor the moment. Enjoy it all. With my sincerest and humblest gratitude for being here today, thank you very, very much. Congratulations